tortured, and sentenced to die in prison, all because of his faith. Hear one man's miraculous story of escape from Egypt to freedom in Israel, today on Jewish Voice.
Shalom and welcome to Jewish Voice. I'm Jonathan Bernis. The news today is filled with stories about persecution. In many places, persecution seems to be an assault on your rights. In most of the world, however, it can be an assault on your very life. My guest today grew up in a Muslim home in Egypt, and he became a Christian and then suffered severe torture for proclaiming his faith. He then managed to escape to Israel, and his own harrowing experience has motivated him to help others who are suffering religious persecution. Now he travels around the world to help rescue them to safety. Please help me welcome to Jewish Voice the founder of One Free World International, Reverend Majed El Shafie. Majed, I want to say how much I enjoyed meeting you today, and I'm so glad that you came out here to spend this time with us and share a very, very important story. You have a very significant ministry that is really making a difference in people's lives. You have changed people's lives. You've rescued people that otherwise would be dead today. Talk about your organization and the work you do.
One Free World International is a human rights organization. Our main mandate is basically to stop the persecution that's happening to the Christians around the world. We stand against the rising of the anti-Semitism and basically any violation of human rights, especially when it comes to freedom of belief and freedom of religion. We went all the way from Pakistan to Afghanistan to Iraq. I just came back from Iraq 5 months ago. I get shot at least 7 times in the last 5 years.
Wow.
And I almost survived.
Praise God. He's got his hand on you, Majed. Here in America, to be persecuted for our faith is maybe to be ridiculed or made fun of. But there's places in the world where you can be killed for being a Christian.
Well, our world divided to 2 zones, a conflict zone and a comfort zone. A conflict zone, where's the front line of the church, where's the persecution? There is 1 persecuted Christian every 3 minutes worldwide. Last year, 165,000 Christians was killed for their faith.
165,000 martyrs.
Martyrs.
For their faith.
Between 200 and 300 million persecuted Christians worldwide. And this is what's happening today, that the persecution that's facing the Christian world, the front line of the church. And there is the comfort zone. The comfort zone where I'm from Canada, so I live in Toronto. And Canada and United States and Europe and Australia and so on, where the people is not aware of this is happening and they will simply ignore the problem.
And I think far too often we Christians in the comfort zone, we believers in the comfort zone are ignoring the problem.
Absolutely.
That we have brothers and sisters that are dying for their faith that we can help.
Absolutely. And they need the help now. They don't need it tomorrow or after tomorrow. They need the help now. There is a genocide, there is a massacre taking place now. I went to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq. Christians get shot in the street like dogs, like animals. They put in prison, they get tortured, they get different kind of persecution, different levels of persecution, and the whole world watching this genocide and doing nothing about it.
Well, it's time we do something. We need to take a break. When we come back, I want you to share your testimony. It's one of the most amazing testimonies you will ever hear. We'll be back with Majed when we return. Don't go away.
He was arrested, tortured, and sentenced to die in prison. The crime? His faith. Peer inside the looming shadows of persecution. Discover how one man's frightening brush with death launched a major assault on the forces of spiritual darkness. Majed El Shafie's escape from torture in Egypt to freedom in Israel began an epic journey to expose the truth. In his stunning documentary, Freedom Fighter, he reveals the grim and growing reality of persecution of Christians, Jews, and other minorities in places where extremism, hate, and fear rule. This powerful video presentation follows Majid's inspiring trek through the Middle East, Pakistan, and Afghanistan as he investigates chilling reports of abuse, persecution, and slavery. As you watch, you'll better understand this growing danger and discover how this sinister and demonic attack can be stopped. As our way of saying thank you for your gift of $40 or more, we want to send you a copy of Freedom Fighter, along with Jonathan Bernis' DVD, Radical Islam, What You Need to Know. These two resources reveal the shocking truth about the rise of persecution and hate around the world, and the dangers facing us here at home. Your generosity will ensure that urgently needed medical care will help hurting Jewish people suffering from disease and poverty. More importantly, they will hear the truth and freedom of their Messiah. Call or click right now with your gift of $40 or more to receive your DVD copies of Freedom Fighter and Radical Islam, What You Need to Know. Your gift will ensure that urgently needed medical care and the truth of Yeshua will bring hurting Jewish people around the world help, health, and hope.
Welcome back to Jewish Voice. I'm Jonathan Bernis, and with me today is the founder of One Free World International, Reverend Majed El Shafie. And Majed, you have an incredible testimony that I want you to share in just a moment. But I want to talk about an incredible DVD, Freedom Fighter, and what inspired you to make this DVD?
Well, the producer of this movie by the name Chris Atkins, wonderful producer, wonderful young man that is also was the cameraman of the show. And basically he came to me one day and he said, I want to follow you. Wherever you go, I just want to bring my camera and just will follow you. I think he regret that. But
I've been there before.
But in 4 years, he came with me to Pakistan, Afghanistan, some of the rescue mission. I would say Neha, the little girl from Pakistan, she is 2 years and a half old. And she was raped by a Muslim extremist man because he refused, because he went to her father, which is a Christian, and her father refused to convert to Islam. So as a punishment for her Christian father, they raped his daughter, 2 years and a half old, baby. And I took a plane, I went to Pakistan. We hid this little girl for 4 years because basically the government and the extremists wanted to kill them to basically to cover up on the truth. So we have to change their cover up or their hiding place from one place to another for 4 years, until finally I took the okay from the Canadian government to bring them to Canada. I went personally and I was able to get them out of Pakistan to Canada in a very miraculous way to escape out of Pakistan.
Let's go back in history now. You're 19 years old. You're from a prominent family in Egypt. You're studying law. What happens to you?
I grew up in a big home where I had a big, huge library in your bedroom full of books about freedom, human rights, and justice. I read every and each one of these books. I believed in every and each one of these books. My family worked in the legal career, so my father was a lawyer, my uncle was judge in the Egyptian Supreme Court. And after I finished my high school, I went to the law school in Alexandria to become a lawyer. And in the first 3 years of the law school, I discovered the persecution that's happening to the Christians in Egypt. Right now, as me and you speaking in this wonderful free place, there is at least 6,000 to 7,000 Christians, Egyptians, that they're in jail just because they are Christians. I would start to wonder, as a Muslim young man, I start to wonder why there is persecution happening to the Christian minority. I don't understand. Listen, my belief that you don't persecute somebody unless you are scared from the truth that they carry.
That's absolutely true.
So they don't persecute us, they persecute Christ in us. That's what I believe. And I start to wonder why. So I went to my best friend, Tamer. Tamer told me, listen, Tamer was a Christian, I was a Muslim. And Tamer told me, listen, Majed, I cannot answer your question because I am afraid this will affect our friendship together. But I will give you a book. Take this book, read it. He found answer for every question that you have. This book was not only about justice and laws and regulations. It was also about love and forgiveness and sacrifice. We call it the Holy Bible. First time I opened the Holy Bible was John 8. They brought a lady commit adultery, throw her in front of the Lord. Told him, listen, if you are really Son of God, judge her according to the law of Moses. And the Lord started right down on the sand by his finger and told them, who without sin cast her the first stone? They turn around. You think about it, the only one who can really cast her the first stone is Christ himself, because he's the only one who have no sin. But he didn't.
That's right.
He told her, go, sin no more, I forgive you. And this was my first time I met Christ and his forgiveness. I started to read the Bible, I started to read the Quran, which is the book of the Muslims. In almost a year after that, I came to conclusion that I accept Jesus, my Lord and my Savior. But our Bible teaches us something very important. Faith without action is a dead faith. So I decide, me and a group of my friends, all of us students in the law school, we start to establish a newspaper to ask from the Egyptian government to give us our rights, start to build churches inside mountains, inside caves. We start to build medical clinic, Bible schools.
All underground. This is all underground.
All underground.
Because it's illegal.
Yes. We grew up from 7 people to 24,000 in 2 years' time. August 15, 1998. 1:30 in the morning, I heard knock on my door. 5 soldiers, 2 officers, they came, they broke the door, they took me to police station. It's called the Zogli police station. In the police station, they told me, listen, we know who you are, we know everything about you. One thing we don't know, who is the rest of your friends, who is the rest of your team. I told them I don't know which team and which friends and which group, and if you know everything about me, why are you asking me? They told me, listen, if you want to play tough, we can play tough together. I told them, tough is my middle name, you have no idea. Anyway, they took me next day to Abu Zabal jail. I will tell you something, you will not see it in CNN or Fox News or anywhere. 25% of Abu Zabal jail, of the space of Abu Zabal jail is underground, is the torture section in Egypt. Underground, you cannot even see them. I was there for 7 days. For me, it was like 700 years. Day number 1, they shaved the hair of my head and they put my head in cold and hot water. They would torture you for 3-4 hours and they would give you rest between for 15-20 minutes, and after that they would carry on for another 3-4 hours and until the end of the day. Day number 2, they hang me upside down. They burn me with cigarettes, they beat me with everything in their hands. They put me back again to my cell. I was bleeding from everywhere, and the only thing that I can really remember was the taste and the smell of my blood. And they told me, you tell us the name of your friends. I told them no. They told me, do you know what will happen to you if you did not speak? I told them, I'm listening. They told me, we release 3 dogs to attack you. And they closed the door. What do you do if you are in my place? You are underground, you are bleeding, and you know next day you are facing 3 dogs. You pray. That's what you do. That was my prayer. I told him, Lord, I don't regret believing in you. I thank you for your love and your sacrifice. Thank you that you lived and you died for us. And if I have a second opportunity in life, I will still worship you. However, if you can take me home before tomorrow morning, I would really appreciate it. From ash to ash, from dust to dust. I'm afraid to, under heavy torture, speak the name of my friends. Then now I'm holding the information. And next day, they opened the door. My room is dark, so when you open the door, there is a red light coming from the corridor. I went and I sit down in the corner, and I can hear the 3 dogs getting closer and closer to my room. And they came to my room, and I put my back in the corner, and I sit down. So I cover my chest with my own leg, like you know when you put your leg like this, and I cover my face with my own hand. I was trying to get like the outside flesh to get hurt, and instead of the
these
inside.
are dogs that are trained to attack you.
Yes. They are German Shepherd. They are big, huge German Shepherd dogs. They are not small little dogs. And I can hear them getting closer and closer to my room. You can hear their chain, the way that they are breathing, till they come to my room. And I prepare myself for pain. I prepare myself for agony. But I couldn't feel any pain, and I didn't know why, because I can hear them beside me. And I took away from my hand, away from my face, and by God, that's what I saw. The 3 dogs sitting around me, none of them moved one single step.
Wow.
Not one single step.
But that's not the end of the miracle.
The officer told the soldier maybe the dogs, something wrong with them, maybe they're sick. So they took the 3 dogs, they brought another set of 3 dogs. Another set of 3 dogs sit in the same position, was a little different. The middle one took a step forward and he licked my face. They took the dogs, I didn't hear from them the rest of the day. Day number 4, officer number 27, he came, he opened the door, very angry, very upset. He's like big, strong man. It's like the governor of California. Used to be the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Yeah. Now you're not saying it was him, but like.
Yeah, no, like him. Yeah.
Want to be clear.
Yes. And he was strong, big man, and he came, he opened the door very angry, very upset, and he told me, listen, I'm not scared of you. I told him, of course you are the ones torturing me. I'm the one supposed to be scared of you. He told me, I'm here to make with you a deal. You tell me the name of the rest of your friends, I will make you free. You want money, I give you money. You want brand new car, I give you brand new car. You want bigger house, I give you bigger house. You want beautiful girls, I give you beautiful girls. Whatever you want, I will give you. I told him, that's a deal. I told him, but first, if you want to know the name of my friends, you know, I've been tortured for the last 3 days. Go get me dinner, and after that we'll talk. He told me, now you tell me the name of your friends. I told him, listen, I have a problem. I cannot give you all the names of our friends. I cannot remember them. But I can give you the name of our leader. You can catch him, and he can give you all the names of our friends. He told me, I thought that you are the leader. I told him, no, sir, I'm just a servant. He told me, oh, give me the name of your leader. I told him the name of our leader, Jesus Christ. If you can catch him, catch him. He really didn't like it very much.
I'm sure.
My first punishment, that he slapped my face. I always made joke about it. I said it was my first time I fly without aeroplane.
It gets even worse.
I was crucified for 2.5 days after that, and they make a cut in the back of my left shoulder to the bone, and they put salt and lemon in the open wounds.
We'll be back with Majed when we return. Don't go away.
He was arrested, tortured, and sentenced to die in prison. The crime? His faith. Peer inside the looming shadows of persecution. Discover how one man's frightening brush with death launched a major assault on the forces of spiritual darkness. Majed El Shafie's escape from torture in Egypt to freedom in Israel began an epic journey to expose the truth. In his stunning documentary, Freedom Fighter, he reveals the grim and growing reality of persecution of Christians, Jews, and other minorities in places where extremism, hate, and fear rule. This powerful video presentation follows Majid's inspiring trek through the Middle East, Pakistan, and Afghanistan as he investigates chilling reports of abuse, persecution, and slavery. As you watch, you'll better understand this growing danger and discover how this sinister and demonic attack can be stopped. As our way of saying thank you for your gift of $40 or more, we want to send you a copy of Freedom Fighter, along with Jonathan Burness' DVD, Radical Islam, What You Need to Know. These 2 resources reveal the shocking truth about the rise of persecution and hate around the world, and the dangers facing us here at home. Your generosity will ensure that urgently needed medical care will help hurting Jewish people suffering from disease and poverty. More importantly, they will hear the truth and freedom of their Messiah. Call or click right now with your gift of $40 or more to receive your DVD copies of Freedom Fighter and Radical Islam, What You Need to Know. Your gift will ensure that urgently needed medical care and the truth of Yeshua will bring hurting Jewish people around the world help, health, and hope.
Welcome back to Jewish Voice. I'm Jonathan Burness, and with me today is the founder of One Free World International, Reverend Majed El Shafie. And Majed, torture continues, and gets even worse.
I was crucified for 2 days and a half after that, and they make a cut in the back of my left shoulder to the bone, and they put salt and lemon in the open wounds.
Just unimaginable. And then you go before a tribunal, before a judge.
Yes. And I
Now, what are you
received the death
charged
penalty.
with?
I get charged with 3 charges. Number 1, that I tried to make revolution against the Egyptian government. Number 2, that I tried to change the official religion of Egypt from Islam to Christianity. And number 3, that I worship and I love Jesus Christ. Believe it or not, this was the crime that was said to me. And I would tell you what I told the judge in this day. I have no lawyer, nobody present me, and the judge in the end told me, do you have anything to add? Do you have any comment? I said, 1, Your Honor, just 1. He said, go ahead. I told him, if loving Christ and worshiping Him is a crime, I'm guilty as charged, Your Honor.
And then you're sentenced.
Death penalty. I received the death penalty. They put me back again to my house arrest. 4 days later, I was supposed to be hanged.
I have to stop and pause here, because you're telling us that for your faith in a so-called democracy, you are sentenced to death
Yes.
by a judge.
Yes. It's a democracy on papers, on theory, by law. But enforcing the law is a different story.
It
That's
also
the difference.
shows the spirit of Sharia,
Absolutely.
of Islamic fundamentalism. So tell us how you escaped. This is a harrowing story. It's just gripping.
No, I went on the border. I was hiding with Bedouin family, and I monitored the border between Egypt and Israel. Well, if you know the map of the Middle East, if you try to escape from Egypt to any another of the Arab Muslim countries, they will kill you. The only democracy in the Middle East will be Israel. And what did I know about the Jewish community or the Jewish people at this time? I know that the enemy of my enemy is my friends. Very simple mathematics. So I stole jet ski. Some of you will say, but you're Christian, you're a holy man, you're reverend. How could you steal a jet ski? I stole the jet ski, sue me. It is what it is. So I got the jet ski, and there was 2 boats, military boats. One is Egyptian, one is Israeli. You try to cross, they will shoot you. So I crossed between them so they couldn't shoot me, because it's called crossfire. So I was able to land in Princess Hotel, which is in Eilat. And I surrendered to the Israeli police, and through the intervention of Amnesty International and United Nations, UNHCR.
How were you treated in Israel?
Oh, I was treated very well. I had my rights. The Jewish people around me understood what's happening. Like the first time that the Jewish journalist there was supporting my case. My case at some point was very well known, a very famous case in Israel. A Jewish human rights activist. Before I leave the prison, 2 of the Israeli guards and 1 Israeli criminal came to the Lord before I leave the prison. Like the way that I was treated in Israel, is an amazing way, and I think that's why I carry Israel in my heart.
You were in prison for a time, and quite a time in Israel, but really for your own protection.
1 year, 3 months, 15 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes.
Give or take some seconds.
Yes. No, there is peace agreement Camp David between Egypt and Israel.
So
And the
Egypt is trying
Egyptians-
to get you extradited.
Exactly, that's
back.
what the problem, yeah.
Israel doesn't allow that, and they actually keep you in solitary for your own protection.
That's correct.
And now you're a former Muslim, Egyptian, who loves Israel, loves the Jewish people.
And worship the Lord.
Thank God, the God of Israel.
The God of Israel.
You have a message you want governments that persecute Christians to hear.
Here is the final word, and here's my message to you. Persecute Christians is dying, but they're still smiling. They are in very deep, dark night, but they still have the candle of the living God. You have very strong army, it's true. You have very strong weapon, is a fact. But we have the Lord Almighty, and this is the reality. Remember this as long as you live. After every night there is new morning carrying new day. After every storm there is sunshine. And after every persecution, there is victory in Jesus' name. Here is what you need to remember, and here is what I will always remind you. You can kill the dreamer, but no one can kill the dream. I will see you at the finish line. Thank you.
Majed, I want to thank you for coming here today, for sharing this amazing testimony. You're a man of courage. God's hand is clearly on you.
God bless you, sir.
And we wish you great doors of opportunity to be opened, and many opportunities to rescue people, and to may God amplify your voice
Amen.
throughout the
heart.
world.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
sir.
you.
God bless you.
Majed El Shafie. More just ahead, so be sure to stay with us.
Come to where heaven and earth meet. Join Jonathan Bernis in the Holy Land, November 30th through December 11th for the Jewish Voice 2012 Israel Tour. Experience a land of rich history, walk where Yeshua walked, and explore the very backdrop of the Holy Bible. You'll visit Tel Aviv, Jaffa, Caesarea, Nazareth, the Sea of Galilee, the Mount of Beatitudes, and more. Call or click now for more information and make plans to come with us to Israel.
Here at Jewish Voice, we have a mandate, and that mandate is to proclaim Yeshua, Jesus, as the Messiah to the Jew first and also to the nations of the world. I believe that time is running short, and that's true especially for impoverished Jewish communities in some of the remotest places of the world. They have need beyond anything you can imagine, and this is what pushes us, and we are determined to carry out our mandate and mission, and that's to go anywhere in the world where God's chosen people, the Jewish people, need our help. It is friends like you, partners like you, that make this possible. And on behalf of our team here at Jewish Voice, I want to thank you for your continued prayer and financial support. And I want to say thank you. I want to sow into your life as you sow into this ministry and enable us to help people like the B'nai Menashe in India and the Lemba tribe in Zimbabwe. And I have a few special gifts that I want to sow into your life. First of all, we have an amazing DVD called Freedom Fighter, and this tells the story of persecuted Christians that have been redeemed, that have been plucked out of a place where they were facing death. And along with that, we produced here at Jewish Voice a very important panel discussion called Radical Islam, What You Need to Know, Why America and Israel are targets for destruction. I want you to know that we love you and we thank God for you and for your faithfulness. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to remind you that we're here every week, so I hope you'll join us again next week. And as I go, I want to remind you, as I always do, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. The Bible says they shall prosper that love thee. Israel needs our prayers now more than ever. For all of us at Jewish Voice, this is Jonathan Bernis saying shalom and God bless you.
Jewish Voice is made possible by the support of friends and partners like you.